when solving exponents that are in fractions that have the same base letter, you take the base letter minus the exponent on the bottom, and then you could solve. So 5 over 2 minus 2, that would equal x to the 1/2 exponent power 5. Let's take a look at example B. When solving this type of problem, we have to take the exponents m and subtract them. So it would be 2 minus 5. Also, we have the n exponent. And we take that and take n and 4 minus 3 as the exponents. From there, we need to combine or subtract those numbers. So we end up getting n to the negative third power. N, 4 minus 3, is 1. Now, you have a negative exponent. Just like before, you have to follow the rules. Change this negative to a positive by moving it down to the basement underneath the number to get your answer. So this would turn into n to the first power over n to the third power. And we know n, or anything to the first power, is just that number, so we really don't need that exponent up there for the 1. So our final answer would be n over n to the third power. How do we solve a problem with scientific notation as a fraction? What we need to do is group them as in like terms. We're going to take 1.21 over 4.81, and then we're going to take that times 10 to 7 minus 5. We need to subtract the top exponent and the bottom exponent. So when doing that, in order to solve that problem, we pull up our calculator from my website and you plug in 1.21, 1, okay, let's try that again. In order to do that, you would take 1.21 divided by 4.81, and our answer would be 0.25. So we have 0.2515. That is what you get when you divide those two numbers. But my answer would be 0.2515 times 10. Subtract those two exponents, 7 minus 5 is 2. To get my final answer, what does that 2 tell me to do with this decimal point right here? This 2 means to move this decimal point 2 places that way. So our final answer would be 25.15. So we're doing a problem that has a fraction with exponents, divide the number, subtract the exponents, and this 2 tells me to move my decimal point 2 places to the right. How do we solve a problem that is, what is a simplified form of that fraction? In your book, that's what you'll see. I just made it larger so you can see it a little bit better. What does this 3 tell me to do on the outside? This 3 means I have to distribute with that number and with the number on the bottom. So what does that mean I need to do? What I need to do is, like we usually do, multiply the exponents outside the parentheses. By doing that, I'm going to take 3 times 2/3. A quick way of looking at that is that 3 cancels out that 3, so I am left with z to the second power. This 3 down here would be 5 to the third power. I'm not quite finished yet because I need to finish up and solve what is 5 to the third power. So I would end up with z squared over 5 to the third power, which is 125. Again, how do we put that in our calculator? 5.03. That would give me 5 to the third power, which is 125. Again, what is 5 to the third power? 5 times 5 times 5, which also equals 125. A couple different ways of putting it into your calculator to get 5 to the third power. How do I solve problem 4? Simplifying an exponential expression. Given this problem right here, I'm going to rewrite it so it's a little bit easier to see. So we have 2x to the 6th power over y to the 4th power. Then we have our parentheses raised to the negative 3rd power. What do we do to solve this problem? Notice looking at this problem, we have a negative exponent. This negative exponent needs to be positive. So we need to flip this fraction right here and rewrite it as y to the 4th power over 2x to the 6th power raised to the now positive 3 power. So what does this tell me I need to do? Just like in our other example, this 3 needs to be distributed with each of those numbers. So what do? We have a number next to another number instead of parentheses? Correct. We multiply these 2 numbers, which will give us y 4 times 3 over 2. That 3 also goes with that 2. So it's 2 to the 3rd power x 6 times 3 for that part of the problem. Let me just erase this information over here so we can put our final answer to this problem. I need to multiply 4 times 3, so that becomes y to the 12th power over 2 to the 3rd power, which again is 2 raised to the 3rd power, or 2 times 2 times 2. 2 times 2 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. So 2 raised to the 3rd power is 8. And then we have x 6 times 3, which is 18. So our final answer would be y to the 12th power over 8x to the 18th power.